Happy with the win, disappointed with especially the first half. I thought that UAB physically would dominating us with their offense, their offensive line. It seemed like it was 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2. Um, Now the stats don't necessarily say that, but that's how it felt. And uh, couldn't throw and catch in the first half. And I was proud that we ended up coming back and tying it at halftime, but just very, very disappointing how we started the football game. And I was proud that we came back from 17-3 and tied it there at half. But if somebody said we didn't punt, you'd probably say, "Oh yeah, we did." But it was one of those games that didn't feel like we ever got in a rhythm. And the thing that we did well was we ran the football and made critical 3rd and 1s and 4th and 2s and made critical and the touchdown there at the end to kind of put us up 2 scores was really big, obviously. And they ran, and Taylor, they ran it on a little sweep there. But give credit to UAB. They did an outstanding job. I'm very happy we're 2-1. Very disappointed in that we didn't dominate the game at all, like we certainly hoped that we would coming in.
Is there something to the psychological thing of how much you invested in last week, and maybe like a hangover on you? You put so much emotionally into last week's game.
Last week's game, we practiced 5 times in 2 days on Oklahoma State, so 6 actually, and so was there the way that it finished? Was it a letdown major? Obviously, but that's where we talked about flushing it after the game at Oklahoma State. But I just think that we had 5 guys on defense in green jerseys this week. We had 2 on offense, and we practiced them. Well, green means you can't hit them. So the physicality of the practice this week wasn't what it should have been because of the green jersey. So then you decide, are we going to practice him so he can be ready if he's healthy, or are we not going to practice him and practice somebody else with that one group? Now, the guys that played, they practiced. I'm not saying that, but the guys in green jerseys didn't get any physicality. That's how it was because we needed them available for the game. It slowed practice down, and I was worried, especially defensively. I was worried about how our physicality and how we would fly to the football and all those things, because during practice with a lot of green out there that you can't hit, it slows down. So I think that probably had more to do with it than maybe the Oklahoma State deal. And we were physically beat up from that game and still recovering from it, honestly.
Green was pretty up and down. Was the wind a factor? It was very windy in the press box.
I don't think so. I think he just didn't have a good night. I think Bobby talked to him about his reads and all that, but I thought that he got the ball out of his hand. On some of the errant throws, he got the ball out of his hand fast. Where he made plays was when he ran around a little bit, but I don't think so. I think if you ask him, I think he just short armed some throws.
The passing game, maybe other than Taylor, was anything off otherwise, with the receivers and offensive line, or was it just maybe one of those off games for your quarterback?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we got held on a couple of crossing routes with the tight end, got tackled. But we got a sack. I asked him about that, but no, I don't think so. I just think that we didn't throw and catch it like like we normally would. I don't think it was a wind problem. I don't think we actually, that part of practice went extremely well this week. Our throwing, our catching, our route running, our protections. But for whatever reason, we were off. And again, teams that are good, they find a way to win, and no matter who you play, and fortunately, we found the run game that bailed us out of it, and our defense played a much better second half than they did the first.
Yeah, Jaquindon and Andrew stars for you guys today. I mean, just how encouraging is it, two of your, impact players, when maybe the rest of the team's not playing so well, they come up and have that performance.
JJ's been that way for 3 games in a row now, and man, the run right, I think it was right before fourth quarter started, maybe. Man, he jump cut, made a great run there. He's a really good player, good kid. And then Armstrong's had 2 games over 100 yards. I don't know what it was. Well, 137 today, and that's a lot of yards when you're struggling throwing it, but I hung in there, and we found a way to win. And at the end of the day, we've got to get better, but they're going to ask you what your record is at the end of the year, and so I'm happy we won. Disappointed in the way that we played, especially in the first half. But I don't think the wind or anything had anything to do with it. I think we was just off.
Yeah, Coach, like you said, you got the win, but curious if you're wondering if the mentality of the players, if they had the right approach to this one. It's kind of been a little bit of a trend at home where it just hadn't had the same vigor you had on the road.
Yeah, I think I felt like we had a good practice offensively. I thought defensively we did not, and for the reasons, T-Well, thank the Lord, is Janine had the baby, and but there was some distractions there with him, and that's wonderful. He needs to go see his baby and his wife and all those things. And we may have played the same if he had been there all the time. But I just felt going into the game that we didn't have the drive that we had in practice, and I thought it was because of the green jersey. So I don't know. Obviously, Trey, I'm disappointed in the way that we played, and we've got to put our finger on why we struggle at times at home. But because we've been a little bit better road team, actually, to be honest with you. But we'll go to work on it. I think we were beat up coming into this week, and we've got to get healthy for next week, because Braxton, some guys didn't play, so and Nichols, and that's another one that we practiced all week and didn't know if he'd be able to play or not because of the ankle. And then we get maybe 3 reps out of him. You know what I mean. So I don't know the answer as far as any more than what I just stated.
I was going to ask you about Nichols, because it looks like you've got a bunch. You said you practiced a lot about guys in green jerseys, so likely feels like they'll probably be back. But Nichols looks like it was pretty heavily taped and then came off real early.
It was, and he practiced probably individual on Monday, Tuesday a little bit of team, Wednesday a little bit of team, Thursday the whole day. We felt pretty good about him coming in, as long as it didn't get rolled up again. Obviously, it did, and those high ankles they're harder to come back from, longer to come back from than low ankles. So we'll have to be smart with him, and we'll go back and see how Maury Wiggins played. Obviously, snapped the ball twice when they simulated a cadence. That's a weird rule, if you clap on the road on defense like we did, like Story did, we got a penalty, but they verbally say something and they don't get a penalty. I think the rules all jacked up. We got to look at that, I think.
It was the only other wideout we saw have a catch besides Armstrong. Just what do you think of the way the rest of the receivers, other than Armstrong, how they played?
Well, you got to look and see how they blocked. I didn't feel like we dropped a lot of passes. No, we didn't. We dropped one right before it, maybe right before halftime. We was wide open over there, but I just think we just weren't able to get the ball to them tonight. But I got to watch. I didn't see any blaring holdings or blaring MAs on assignments out there on their blocking. but I'll have to wait and watch the film on that one to answer you correctly.
And you decided to stick with Ramsey, and then he had the one miss, but the 51-yarder. Just what did you make of his day?
Yeah, that's the the guy that I called up after I spoke with the team about, what all we need to do. And I'm gonna tell you, our team was great. I mean, they understand. You can have individual good performances, but if you don't have 11 on both sides of the ball performing well, I mean, we can't compete in the SEC playing like we did tonight. We got to do better. They understood that and all those things, but Ramsey's the one that I got to stand up in front of the team because he got ridiculed last week and all that. And I don't know if he was 3 for 4 or 4 for 5, 3 for 4. And I think one of them was 51 yards or something like that. And the difference in what he did this week and what he had done the week before is he hit the ball. He was hitting the ball. The ball wasn't going on like that. He hit the ball all week. So I felt like he'd have a pretty good game. And he certainly did.
Same with Taylon's accuracy issues today. Is that something that flared up in any practices like during camp, or was it pretty unusual for what he did today?
I thought it was very unusual, and I think it's correctable, and I think he'll correct it. Most of the time when that happens, guys are pushing hard. And again, Trey, it might go back to your playing at home for the first time as well. That's his first time he's ever been in this stadium with fans. He may have pushed a little bit hard. He may want to show out a little bit, play a little bit, above what he normally does, which is plenty good. But no, he didn't have accuracy problems in practice.
And, not necessarily pleased with how the team played in the first half. I'm curious what the locker room talk was at halftime and how you felt they responded to that.
I mean, it was loud. I mean, it was to the point. They were whipping our butt, so we needed to understand that we knew it and how we could fix it. And it had a lot to do with playing with tackling better. We didn't tackle at all, well in the first half. So that, and, just continue to encourage in the passing game because we had guys open. It's just we weren't throwing and catching it. So, and then trying to find a way. At that point, you just try to find a way to win. And it was a big emphasis on we were going to take the ball if we won the toss, and they did, and they took it, so I told them, hey, let's do what we talked about. And we did go down and score, I believe. We scored the first time we had it. Huh? No, second half. Was that? Yeah. So we did go down and score, and then defense stopped and we had opportunity. Well, we're not doing a great job right now is when we have an opportunity to go up 2 scores and we're not doing it. I mean, we did there towards the end of the game, but man, we had the ball a lot against Oklahoma State and we didn't get to 2 scores and, missed field goal, whatever. And today was the same way. We could really start putting people away. We're not, especially when we could get a 2-score lead, and we're not doing it right now. We got to get better at that. And we're taking sacks or getting sacks, however you want to look at it. It's a sack, and getting out of field goal range, making the field goal kicker work a little bit harder.
You mentioned going into the week that you wanted more pressure from the guys up front. Just wondering how you thought those guys played overall.
I don't particularly think we did a great job of that. And that was one of the things that we talked about at half as well. I don't believe we pressured him very well at all.
Sam, Jaquin, obviously he had good games at Utah, but I think this is probably the best stretch of games he's had as an older guy. What have you seen from him on the season, and especially today when Taylon, the passing game wasn't as productive? I mean, how much did you lean on him and the way he came?
Well,
through?
I think he's the guy here. I don't know if he ever was at Utah. You know what I mean? So I think he feels different here. But every time we ask him, I mean, he does some pretty spectacular things. Our line does a good job, but he is our guy. Again, I don't know, Bob. I just don't feel like he probably never was Utah, and he got injured over there as well. So they probably would have used him every bit as much if he was healthy.
And to today, what he did that you really liked?
He makes extra yards when he carries the ball. You know, we'll block it up somewhere, but he always seems to be making somebody miss or running over somebody. Got a really good vision back there. And like I say, the jump cut when it was going to the right, the jump cut that he ran for, I don't know, 25 yards, something like that. That's a little bit of line and a whole lot of running back.
I guess you said you were reopening the kicking. I assume he must have had a solid week. And then,
He did.
like you said, it was getting ridiculed on social media, whatever. How did you feel like he handled that from a mental toughness standpoint? I guess?
Well, obviously, I think he persevered, but like I say, he came in and he was hitting the ball well. He's always been pretty accurate when he hits the ball well. And this last week, he was hitting the ball well. So I thought he'd come back, and he did. And I'm really, really proud of him. Really happy for him. Happy for him on the team.
Scary injury there in the first half, right on the sideline. Just wondering what what you saw there. And
Yeah, I don't know what the injury was. I don't know, but I know I have and will continue to pray for the young man. I don't know what the injury was. I didn't talk to Coach after the game about it. I should have, and I did not.
there's a lot of times where Talon, sometimes he's making plays when he's running around in the pocket. Sometimes, it looks a little risky. Is that
Yeah.
something you want to reel in or encourage that kind of, I don't know, wild card aspect of his game?
Well, I think he's just trying to, he's trying to make a play, and most of the sacks that we've got this year is he can't get out of nobody's way. In other words, like tonight we had 52 protection. His backside should be handled. It wasn't, and they got nailed in the back. But most of the time, and he made a really good play today when he ran to the right and threw the ball. He made the same play in practice. But no, I don't know that you can reel him in when he gets. I don't think he's leaving the pocket too fast. I guess to answer your question.
I was wondering, Coach, what you saw, or what you thought maybe they saw out of you guys, because it looked like they were dumping off to the back a whole lot and early, like really attacking the middle, like around where the nickel is.
And nakeds, the nakeds is, we knew when they were coming. I mean, that's the sad part about it. And we didn't cover it. Linebacker didn't go out and cover it. But I think what they saw is that our linebackers have to get out there and make those tackles. And in certain defenses, the linebackers are responsible for it. And I think they took advantage of that, to be honest with you.
And Taylor didn't have his best day, obviously, but he did hit a couple of throws that were just dropped. Broden that would have been a tough catch, but you'd like him to
Yeah,
make
but
that
that was a good throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point.
And then the throw to CJ that was dropped too. Like, what do you say to those guys? Like, hey, we gotta have those.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we really haven't had that problem, till today. We really haven't had that problem, and can't remember a guy dropping a wide open pass or whatever. And CJ's young; he'll get better and he'll learn. I'm glad we had him out there. He'll get better, and he'll catch them. And Ty would come over and tell us the same thing. I should have had that one. And so when you got attitudes like that, you'll be fine. He catch them all the time in practice too.
You got the ball back with 6-something left. They just cut it to 3. I mean, you had to go drive. I mean, what'd you think of that possession?
That was big time. And to be honest with you, the 3rd and 9, I guess it was 9, wasn't it? It was 11 or 9 down there in goal that we ran the sweep and he didn't get touched was a gift from heaven. I mean, it would look so pretty. It wasn't pretty as old Jamie, but it's close. And and thank you. But anyway, that one right there was a big, big drive, and there was a lot of good plays going on there. We ran the ball, and that's where you get JJ back there, and Rodney runs hard as heck too, and so he did a good job as well.
You feel better about Clark and whatever test he had, and then Braxton next week?
I feel better about Braxton than I do Clark. They're getting back. And Clark's got a lot of value, man. He can play a lot of.
The one, I know that you said you wanted to get Braylon Russell more into
Yeah.
the game early, and then you've got the confidence to put him right there to run in and get that first touchdown here at Razorback Stadium.
Well, I didn't mean get him in early and not play him again, but he did go in there and score a touchdown there on it. And no, that was the package that we had. When you call the package, he's in that package. So, and to be honest with you, the package was a big package. So he was going to go in there when it was third, fourth and short, goal line, whatever. So that's telling you right there that we have a lot of confidence in him. We did not get him, I don't believe, any more reps than that, but we need to continue to work him in.
Second one about Amari Wiggins. There were, even at Oklahoma State, he was snapping the ball because he could have potentially gone in, but I'm assuming he had an idea that there was a possibility he could have played today with with what was going on with Addison. And so how did that preparation throughout the week help him go?
I think it helped. We had the 2 snaps that they were calling a move, and he snapped it. And fortunately, we were in a gun probably, because if not, underneath we may have put it on the ground closer to him. But he probably practiced as much or more than Nichols did, to be honest. So he was prepared to go out there and do that, and he hadn't played as much ball, and I'm sure he'll get better as he does. All right, guys.